Hey guys! Thanks so much for leaving all your questions in the comments of my last video. I got tons of really good questions about tips for traveling in Japan, tips for learning Japanese, lots of questions about myself and my history of living in Japan. So we've got tons of stuff to cover today, so go grab a tea and some snacks, and I hope you enjoy the video. Asan says, I'm planning to move to Japan later on in life, and I was wondering how you find time to fit studying Japanese into your schedule. What I like to do is incorporate Japanese or the language that I'm currently learning into my hobbies. So if you can find some Japanese music that you like listening to, or some video games that are in Japanese that you like playing, just something that you can use in your downtime, like when you're relaxing, but at the same time you'll be hearing the Japanese, and even if you're not completely focused on it and taking notes and studying, it'll still be entering your brain and you will learn something from it. Dylan asks, how did I get around being homesick when I first came to Japan? I've actually never had problems with being homesick. I don't know if this makes me a horrible person. I don't really struggle with any problems with like missing my family or missing Canada. I talk to them very frequently through email, and sometimes I call them on Skype. So yeah, I've never really struggled with homesickness. I can't give you much advice there other than invest in a webcam and some Skype credit so you can call up your family anytime you want. Yeah, that's really all I can say. Vicos Piano asks, do you also speak some French? I do not speak any French. In Canada, we are required to study French from kindergarten until grade 8. And after that, we're allowed to choose another language. And I switched to Japanese, obviously. So I've forgotten all the French that I did learn. I remember one sentence because I used it to get out of class as often as possible. Est-ce que je puis aller aux toilettes, s'il vous plaît? Falcon Diaries asks, have you ever pretended not to understand Japanese in Japan? Only one time, actually. It was right after I moved to Morioka the first time. The police showed up at my door and I was like, oh crap, what have I done? Did I not throw away my garbage properly or something? And I was freaking out. So I was just like, sorry, no Japanese. And they apologized to me and left. It was great. Seth USK asks, if we were going to watch a past video or videos of yours, what would you suggest? I really liked the videos that I made in Akita when I was staying with a homestay. I just had a really good time there, so I would recommend you watch those two videos. I will link them down below and up in the cards here as well, so go check them out after this video if you haven't seen them yet. Miss Castrella asks, do all those cherry blossoms in Japan actually produce cherries? No, they do not. I actually didn't know this either, and I was wondering a few years ago, and I looked it up, and no, they don't. They are not fruit-producing trees, so you won't find billions of cherries in Japan after cherry blossom season. It's actually cherry blossom season at the moment down in Tokyo right now, and all my friends are posting really pretty photos, but up here in Morioka, it's still very much winter. There was like a blizzard 2 days ago, and I don't think we're going to be seeing the cherry blossoms up here anytime soon. Lacey asks, Charla, what is your skincare routine like now that you're back in Japan? It's actually exactly the same as it was when I was back in Korea. I've got a set of products that I absolutely love and that work really well for my skin, and I can get them sent to me here in Japan, so I use the exact same ones. I will have a list of them right here, and you can find the links to them down in the description box if you like. However, next month, I believe, sometime in May, I will be doing another skincare box. If you're new to my channel, every 3 or 4 months or so, I work with a company called Wish Trend to put together all my favorite skincare products, and they give my viewers a really good deal on them to try them out. So if you are wanting to try some new skincare, or if you are looking to stock up, then maybe wait until May before you get anything because it'll be a really good deal. Veronica asks, what made you start YouTube and how are you motivated to create content and share it? When I did my university transfer here in 2011, I was required to keep a blog of my experiences at university in Japan so that the students back at my home university in Canada could look at my experience and see if it was something they would want to try themselves. And I really suck at writing. So I asked my university if it would be okay if I did videos of my experience instead. That's why the first videos on my channel, I'm just sitting in front of the camera and talking about what I did at school that day. It's nothing super exciting. They were really just designed to go to students over in my home university to give them an idea of what my days in Japan looked like. So that's how I got started. And then lots of people all over the world started watching my videos and having an interest in them. And that's really what keeps me motivated to keep posting today. I find it really cool that I can inspire you guys to come to Japan or just travel in general. It's really just stuff like that that keeps me motivated to post. So thank you so much. Kristen and a few other people asked if I had ever taken the JLPT exam. I have taken the N2 exam. It was actually required for me to take it when I decided I wanted to enter Japanese university as a full-time, regular student. I studied for 3 months prior to the exam and I had no problem at all passing the N2. I was a lot more worried about it than I needed to be, but I have years of prior Japanese experience. It really depends what your level is, but I've heard that N3 and N2, there's a huge jump in level between them. So if you've passed the N3 and you feel like you just made that and that you're comfortable with the N3 level, you probably want to give yourself at least 3 months of solid, really getting into studying for preparing for the N2. The part that I found the hardest about it was actually not related to my Japanese skills at all. It was my memory skills. During the listening section, they tell you a whole story, like a really long story, and then they ask you questions about it. I didn't have problems understanding the questions in Japanese. I had problems remembering all the details of the story. So my biggest tip would probably be to work on your memory skills before taking the test. And I'll put a couple suggestions of books that I loved for the JLPT down in the description box if you guys want to try the same books that I did. Emily asks, what made you decide to live in Japan so long? Did you think you would be there that long when you moved? And are you going back to Canada someday? What made me decide to live in Japan so long? I just enjoy it. It's interesting to me. I feel like I'm learning things when I live here because there are still things that are new to me. And of course, I'm constantly learning Japanese. It's a continuous learning process, so that's cool. I just feel like I'm improving myself and I feel like I really need to challenge myself to be successful here, whereas it might be a lot easier for me back in a country where I speak the language and I'm really comfortable with it. So I think it's the challenge that I like about living here, and that's what's kept me living here so long. I didn't really have a plan when I originally moved here. I didn't know how long I was gonna stay. I just knew I wanted to live here, and it ended up being for a really long time. As for will I go back to Canada someday? Probably someday. I don't see myself living here until I die because I don't think I would want to retire in Japan. I'll probably want to go back to a country where I can just relax and not worry too much about things, not worry about visas and all that stressful stuff. So yeah, one day I'll probably return to Canada. I really like this question from James. If money wasn't an issue, what would your perfect home look like? As for where would it be, I have no idea. I haven't traveled enough of the world to really be able to say where my dream home would be. But as for style, I'm actually working on designing my current apartment exactly how I would want a place to look. I like things to have textures, like natural textures, like woods and leathers, well, fake leathers, fake furs, metal, lots of metal, copper, stuff like that. I'm trying to go for that vibe right now in my apartment, and I'm kind of gathering pieces that I like as I see them. So it's taking a while, but hopefully once I get everything together, I will be able to do a little bit of a tour for you guys. So look forward to that. Urzy Wurzy asks, what sparked your passion in East Asian culture? After grade 8 in Canada, you need to choose another language. You can stick with French if you like and continue that, or you can choose another language that your school offers. And my school had Japanese, Russian, German, Spanish, I believe, and I really had a hard time choosing between Japanese and Russian. I had no specific reasons why I wanted to study either of the two. I just thought they were cool, and I eventually went with Japanese for some reason. And yeah, that's really how my interest in Japan and East Asian culture began. I highly recommend taking a second language if you have the opportunity to in high school. Veronica asks, what do you do to relax in Japan during the hard times? I really like to go for a walk when it's not freezing outside, which it has been for the past few months, so that won't be happening for probably another month or so. And when I don't go outside, I like to just chill at home and either watch movies or play video games. I'm probably more of a homebody than I am a social person, so I really enjoy just being by myself and doing something like watching Netflix or playing Final Fantasy. I just got a PlayStation 4. I haven't had a PlayStation for probably over 15 years. The last one I had was a PlayStation 2, so it's pretty exciting, and I am probably going to download the remastered Final Fantasy X, X-2, so that I can replay those. I'm really looking forward to that. As for shows I recommend, I just finished watching Sex Education on Netflix. It was hilarious. I felt like it was really well made. Some people were criticizing it because the school seemed way too American to be set in the UK. I don't know anything about that, but watching it from a Canadian point of view, I really enjoyed it. I found it really funny, so I really recommend that if you guys have Netflix. Letitia, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, asks, what do you love and hate the most in Japan? Okay, I can tell you something that I hate a lot right now. It is hay fever season, which is insanely intense in Japan. I actually never had hay fever before coming here, and I have it so bad now that when I wake up, my eyes are like red and swollen and my nose is running. And if I go outside, it's a million times worse. That's just in my house. The pollen levels are crazy here for some reason. There are just so many plants that produce high levels of pollen that anybody with hay fever will have a really hard time during the spring. As for the thing I love, it's probably how safe it is, because like I said, I like walking around outside. I like exploring, and I really like that I can do it myself as a girl at nighttime and not feel unsafe. I think that's really cool. That isn't something that I can do in Canada, so I really enjoy the fact that I can do that here in Japan. Another question about the JLPT from Gianni. I've passed the JLPT N4 and I want to do the higher levels when I'm older. Is that necessary if I wanted to study at university in Japan? That really depends on which university you want to study at. Like I said, it was necessary for the university I went to because it was a Japanese speaking university and my classes would be all in Japanese. But there are a few universities in Japan that will offer a full degree program all in English, in which you wouldn't need the JLPT to enter. So just look up all the different universities, see which one has a degree program you're interested in, and then from there you can figure out if you'll need the JLPT or not. If it is a Japanese speaking university, you will most likely be required to pass the N2, which is the level that I did. This is an interesting question from LittleBell215. When you rent a kimono, can you opt to wear your own shoes, or do you have to wear the traditional ones? You could totally wear your own shoes. I am pretty sure nobody would complain if you said you would rather wear like sneakers. I went to a kimono place recently. It was actually my first time going to a kimono renting service in Asakusa, and they were super cool. They were super chill, super friendly. I'm totally sure it would be okay for you to wear your own shoes. Peaceful Pagoda asks, I was wondering what it was about Morioka that made it the best place to come back to. As someone who doesn't live in Japan, I would have assumed you'd live in or around Tokyo. I'm sure lots of people are wondering why I decided to move all the way up here to Morioka, which is quite far from Tokyo, even when I have a job down in Tokyo. But I really just like how there's fewer people here and the scenery is gorgeous. We're surrounded by mountains. There's a really big river running through the city. It's just really nice here. The people are really friendly. I feel like people aren't rushing as much as they are in Tokyo. They're not as stressed. I don't know, I just like the vibe. I think that's what I like. It feels more relaxed, so I feel more relaxed when I'm here. As for my job down in Tokyo, I take the Shinkansen, which doesn't take very long at all. It's really fast. And the only problem is it's expensive, but my job is really cool and I can just go there once a month, stay there for a week or two, get all my work done, and then I can come back up to Morioka. So it's not like I have to commute every day back and forth to Tokyo. Pamela TV asks, are you going to be doing any lucky bag videos? Yes, I have 4 4 lucky bags in my closet at the moment, full of clothing, Japanese clothing lucky bags, and I will be opening them up, so keep your eyes out for those videos. Crystal says, I've been wanting to go to Japan for the longest time. In your opinion, when do you think is the best time to go? Can't really say much about the least amount of tourism. There really seem to be tourists here all throughout the year. But as for the weather, I really like the fall. I feel like it's a season that people don't really think to come to Japan. Most people think to come here in the spring because of the cherry blossoms, but the crowds in the spring are crazy. So if you're looking for a season that will be a little less hectic, I would recommend probably around October, late October, and then it'll just be starting to cool down from summer, which is insanely hot. If you are not a fan of heat and humidity, don't come anytime before September. It's hot here from like May till September. And the final question from Zizzy. My question for you is, how different is green tea from tea bags in Canada? That's a really good question. Actually, green tea in Canada that they sell at the grocery store, say like Tetley or Lipton or something like that, is so different from green tea in Japan. I find that the stuff in Canada is really bitter, whereas the stuff here is quite sweet and it kind of tastes like grass, which sounds gross, but that was like the first impression that I got. I remember the first time that I tried real Japanese green tea. Now I absolutely love it, but I find that it might be kind of an acquired taste for some people, but once you get used to it, you go back to drinking like the green tea from Canada, and it just tastes so bitter and crappy. And they have all kinds of tea here. There's loose tea, which is probably the most common, but you can also get green tea in tea bags at the supermarket. There's all different kinds and they all taste really nice. All right, and that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this really long question and answer video. I hope you learned something. Hopefully I taught you something helpful that can assist you in your trip to Japan or your Japanese studies. If you guys would like more videos like this in the future, please thumb up this video so that I know that. And I will see you guys really soon for lucky bag videos. Those will probably be the next one, so look forward to those. Thanks for watching. Bye guys!